Also, there is a distinct visual similarity between the images on the covers of various prints of the novel Lost Horizon and some of the shots in the opening episode of Lost Season 3 entitled A Tale of Two Cities. For instance, in the reveal of the barracks, an image of a dove is seen flying through the shot. On Lost Horizon, doves are pictured flying above the lamasery of Shangri-La. Now, on an island in the South Pacific, I don't believe doves are a native species, and I tend to think that was an intentional piece of planted evidence. Moreover, in that same sequence, shots cut from a relative close-up to increasingly wider shots that reveal the area of the barracks, secluded amongst the jungle of the island, just as the lamasery is shown secluded among the Himalayan mountains on the cover of the novel Lost Horizon. Similarly, there is a shot of Flight 815 coming down in the sky just prior to the aforementioned barracks reveal that mimics closely the image of the plane coming down on the cover of Lost Horizon. That leads us to the plane itself from the movie, Lost Horizon, and similarly from the novel. The plane is a Douglas DC-3, which is a 1930s era aircraft. Coincidentally, in Lost, that is the exact same model toy plane that Kate Austen obsesses over recovering from the Halliburton case that U.S. Marshal Mars had in his possession. Here is a replica of the plane, and this particular plane is a very close resemblance to the toy model that Kate was obsessing over. It came to be known that this plane was the only personal effect that Kate had when she was taken into custody by Mars. Additionally, we also come to find that this toy plane was one of the items Kate and her childhood sweetheart Tom placed into the time capsule as kids and later recovered as adults. These things by themselves are insignificant, but it begs the questions: why that particular model of plane that exactly matches the one from Lost Horizon? Also, why would a boy like Tom, who grew up in the 1980s, get a 1930s era toy plane? Wouldn't he prefer a modern jet of some kind? I know I would have at that age. Also, why does Kate obsess over it so much and do nearly anything, including rob a bank, shoot people, and fight with Sawyer to get it? Finally, why is that such a big plot point to the show? All are valid questions, and I believe my theory answers them. Now I will discuss other clues. On both the island in Lost and in Shangri-La in Lost Horizon, there are modern amenities such as running water, modern dwellings, and in Lost, at least there is also electricity available despite the remoteness of the location. Also, food and other supplies are delivered regularly by Dharma airdrops on Lost and by porters in Lost Horizon. In fact, Ben tells Jack there is a way he can get off the island and get home in Lost. As proof of this fact, Ben offers the modern amenities as evidence. This evidence even includes current sports statistics and a TV broadcast of a baseball game. Similarly, other such modern luxuries are offered as evidence of a way to leave Shangri-La to the survivors of the plane crash in Lost Horizon. On another note, in both Lost and Lost Horizon, the island and Shangri-La respectively appear to have almost magical healing qualities. On Lost, John Locke, a paralyzed man, can suddenly walk again, and Rose Henderson believes her cancer to have vanished. The same is true for the character of Gloria Stone in the film Lost Horizon. She was terminally ill when she arrived at Shangri-La and had all but given up on life. However, after a short time in Shangri-La, she begins to heal and have a renewed sense of life and purpose. That new sense of life and purpose can also be cited as a legitimate piece of proof of a connection between the two worlds. On both Lost and Lost Horizon, we have plane crash survivors that want to leave and those that want to stay in their respective newfound homes of the island and Shangri-La. Furthermore, on Lost we have two specific criminal characters named Kate Austen and James Sawyer Ford. On the island, both are hesitant to reveal their criminal pasts. However, both realize they have, or will realize they have, been given a second chance on the island. In Lost Horizon, the movie, we have the character of Henry Bernard, who was a man wanted for a large-scale utility company fraud back in the real world, and is given a second chance in Shangri-La, which he takes and decides to stay. Moving on, there is also the connection to be made with the briefly touched on Eastern beliefs and culture, as well as other religious and spiritual ways on Lost and in Lost Horizon. For instance, there is Dharma, which, though known to be an acronym for Department of Heuristics and Research on Material Applications, is also a word related to Buddhism that means the teachings of Buddha, which lead to enlightenment. Also, according to Hanzo himself speaking in the Sri Lanka orientation film, dharma has a second meaning, that is, the one true way.
It also stands for the one true way.
Hanzo urges that this one true way must be found for mankind to survive. Similarly, the residents of Shangri-La believe that they have found the one true way to live in their utopian society. Ultimately, in the end, they believe they will be the only way of life for mankind left on Earth. Additionally, the I Ching symbols encircling the Dharma emblems are all related to Eastern religion/philosophy, which along with Christian influences is also what the lamasery of Shangri-La is founded upon. This is made apparent by the words of the High Lama in both the novel and movie Lost Horizon. Along the same lines, there is the word Namaste. It is written on a sign above the submarine dock the others use. Additionally, it is also used in most, if not all, of the Dharma Initiative orientation films. It is a word derived from Hinduism and Buddhism, and its meaning literally is, I bow to you. However, a more in-depth interpretation can be, the best in me bows to the best in you. Or rather, the God or spirit in me bows to the same God or spirit in you. On Lost, the speaking of the word is usually accompanied by a placing together of one's hands in front of them and bowing forward to a person being greeted, or in the case of Dharma orientation films, as a closing salutation.
Namaste.
Namaste.
In Lost Horizon, the film, we see the character of Chang greet the guests in a similar fashion, but without the use of the word Namaste. At the very least, there is a distinct similarity in the philosophies of the two worlds. Come to think of it, the word Christian, from Christianity, comes to mind in terms of Lost. Christian is the name of Jack's father, Christian Shepherd. He has appeared to us in the shadows of the cabin, seemingly as Jacob. Jacob, for all intents and purposes, appears to be the spiritual leader of the island, even if he is in fact a spirit himself. So the fact that he appears as the image of a man named Christian Shepherd is very fitting. A Christian shepherd, or shepherd of the people. Then there is the fact that on Lost, there is the Dharma Life Extension Project. That is, at the very least, mentioned online as part of the Lost experience. We have some evidence of it in the form of Jupe, the 105-year-old orangutan introduced by Dr. Thomas Middlework in a promotional Hanzo Foundation video. However, on the actual show Lost, Richard Alpert is a character who appears to not age or age very slowly. He is seen speaking with a 10-year-old Ben in the late 1970s, and then appears virtually the same age in present day when Ben is much older. In a similar manner, in Lost Horizon, all residents of Shangri-La appear to live far longer than normal. The High Lama has apparently been alive for over 250 years, perhaps longer. On Lost, Ben and the others seem to have detailed files on all the passengers of Oceanic Flight 815. Similarly, the leaders of Shangri-La know everything about Hugh Conway's past, even his psyche, i.e. his philosophy and desires. Similarly, Ben Linus uses such insight to get at the weaknesses of anyone he pleases, including Jack Shepherd and John Locke. On Lost, when asked by Michael,
Who are you people?
Ben replies with,
We're the good guy.
In Lost Horizon, the High Lama refers to Hugh Conway in similar terms, and it has been predetermined that Conway is a good person worthy of living and becoming the leader of Shangri-La. I believe that from Ben's point of view, he is a good guy, and I will tell you why.